Hi, here's my vlog for the 9th of May, 2023, 2:05 p.m. Tuesday. I remember I said, like, at the beginning of my current project in, like, Thursday or Friday, I think it was Thursday, I predicted that I would be done. I was hoping to be done with my number project by this Sunday. So, yeah, I'm still there. I'm still with that same goal. It's, like everything that I work on my site, it's getting bigger than I anticipated. But, it's worth it. Yeah. It's definitely worth that much time. I'll definitely be super fired up working on it until then. So, so the goal, it's a pretty freaking cool goal, and I'm surprised. I'm like super excited that I came up with this idea because it's like obvious thing to do and nobody's done it. It's to turn numbers into icons. And I was telling this to my mom yesterday, and she goes, well, that's numbers. And I was like, no, numbers are the equivalent to letters. It's the same thing with Roman numerals. So, yeah, and so you just do it across the board. You come up with the language to take the numbers to the top. And so the goal is to be able to identify a number between 1 and a billion. And of course, not each number because it's on a 20K icon. So anything in a 20 kilobyte icon on a website that you can see. If your eyesight's good enough, whatever you can see without zooming in. But if you double tap, whatever you can see in the zoom in. My eyesight's good enough, luckily, still. If you get it at the right distance, like about this distance, I can see just fine without any augmentation on my eye. But I'm 49 years old, and I guess they said, I remember like 10 years ago, they said when you turn 50, you lose your nearsightedness, and it's true. Like when I get super close, I can't see something super nearsighted, like a microscope examine the fur on a marijuana plant or anything like that, or like the legs of a mosquito or the wings of a mosquito. I can't do that anymore like I could before. But if it's about a foot away, I can. And so that's about how far, or a foot and a half away, that's like how far my computer screen is usually when it's on my belly. And with the 20K icon, I can, so whatever I can see on a 20K icon without zooming in. Or at least, maybe zooming in too. But whatever you can, with the resolution that you can identify. So that would be 1 to 100. That would be 100 to 1,000 in increments of 5. 1,000 to 10,000 in increments of 10, probably. 10,000 to 100,000 increments of 100, maybe 100,000 to million increments of 500. And so the idea is to be able to identify any one of those numbers just from looking at it. So we'll see. That would mean that the different, they would have to have distinct shapes to it for your eye to recognize. And it would mean that you'd have to make a bunch of different ones for samples so that you can see which ones are best, because you don't know for sure which ones are best until you see them in icon format. And maybe some people like some more than others anyway. Maybe it's a personality thing to some extent. So what I'm going to do on my front page is just do samples of all the different ones and then just show the ones that I use for my timeline and my books. When they grow vertically, use them for the timeline. When they grow horizontally, use it for the books. Because I'm building both. I built it because I was really only going to build one. Then I realized how cool of a project it is. Need to make it more complex. So I first built it across to the right, and so now I'm building it down. But I'm building it down too. So I built it down in two first, the same as across, and then I built it down into like 200s with two across. But you can only get down to 50 before it got too much of a sliver. So I don't know if I want to. I don't know how useful that'll be. But then when it grew out from 50, it goes out to 10 to 1,000. But then that was kind of. But then because it was after I had already started on that one, I actually couldn't decide. I started on that, and then I looked at the 4 across, and then I was like, okay, 2 across, and I was like, do it 2 across. But then I realized soon after I started that 4 across is better. But I finished the 2 across anyway, so I'll show it as a sample. Maybe it'll have some kind of a use as it grows up from 50. I don't want to use different number languages, though, depending on what number dimension you are. I want to use the same number language throughout the whole thing, so you don't get confused. So that other one would just be just a variation. But but then I built the 4 across, and the 5 across. Built the 5 across, and that's the best because it mimics my website, of course. You want everything to mimic everything as much as you can. So 5 across, that's how many columns are on my website. And then to get to the 10, it takes 2 columns. And that's how my website works all the time. And so if you mimic that in the color, perfect. They augment each other. And so I did 5 across down. So you go down, and then you go down. I can't remember how many. And then you go down. Yeah, I think you go down to like 1,000. So then to 10,000, you do it across, and that staggers, and it looks really good. But I made it to 10,000, and the computer filled up, and then it wasn't even able to crop it back down or save it as a TIFF, but at least it was able to save it as a PSB, large document file. So then I drug all the stuff that I had built over to my external, and then I deleted an entire folder from my computer of like 40 gigabytes. And so now I'm doing screen captures of all the different ones that I created yesterday, the ones that go 4 across and the ones that go 2 across for vertical. And after I screen capture that and rename them, I'm going to maybe like, I might have to like delete more, and then start building, bring some back, and then build more. I'm saving them all, and then I'm going to make sure that they're all 200 megabytes, and anything over 200 megabytes, like the TIFFs that aren't that are under a certain size, I'll just delete, except for like a mother load, because you need to keep it the highest resolution possible for when you make the really big ones. And if the computer can't handle it, you want to save the highest resolution possible and the biggest one possible that you can make for whenever I get my next Macintosh. Maybe that'll be able to handle more. But as of yet, 10 years ago, I maxed out a computer, and it's on my Flickr that you can check out. It's pretty cool. Maybe you can even link it from my website. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm up to, because I eventually want to make it as big as I can and see how much, and then convert them to the icons, which is a process, and I did it wrong last time. On the other ones that I did, I turned them to icons, and then I got rid of the background, and I shouldn't have done that. In fact, yeah, I need to get rid of the backgrounds before I turn them to, oh, no, you can't. That's why. If you turn them to icons, if you change the size, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check. If you have something that's a PNG that has the background removed, and then you change the size of it, the new size will now have a background. It can't keep the background removed as you change the size. you have to click remove background and change the size on this little, on the script that I have. But the problem is if you click remove background and change size on an icon, it'll change the size first and then it'll remove the background. And by the time it changes the size, the resolution isn't good for the removing of the background to be crisp. So it removes the entire background of all of the 3s and 4s because they're too similar to like white, and it removes entire chunks of like 4 and 5. So you basically have to remove the background individually on the big ones and the little ones, and so it's kind of like a big process. And when you move the background on the little ones, you have to zoom them up first, each one a bunch of times because they're so little. So it's a lot of processes for a lot of numbers and a lot of different times because there's different styles. But after I build this next round of icons, before I get going on the trying to make the bigger ones again, I might get going on the website and try to add the icons on there as a sample. I'm going to show all the different ones on the website, like the variations and stuff too, so it's going to look cool. But I'll be, if I'm done by Sunday, I'll barely be done, so it's a lot of work. I just called my mom earlier today, went on a bike ride with her yesterday, called her just now, and oh yeah, she was like at the store and she said she'd call me when she got home and maybe we'd go on a bike ride. Oh, but she said she got a membership at 24 Hour Fitness. Because she wants to go to the gym with me. And the year-long membership at 24 Hour Fitness is $239. I mean, $269. So which is a good price if you go there every day. But if I buy a membership, I'm like kind of committing myself, because I got a membership a couple years ago because my mom talked me into it and convinced me to it, like demanded that I do it. And even though I knew I wasn't going to use it, and I didn't even use it, used it one time, like the day that I got it, the next day I went in with her one time. And so I could do it if I do OnlyFans, because I could practice like my skits, because I eventually want to act out the history of Rome, but I could practice with skits on OnlyFans, and that'll motivate me to get muscular and flex and be creative. And if I flex on OnlyFans, which I would do now, and I look like Dad Bod, that would motivate me to go to the gym, I bet you. And it would allow me to forget about the other sports, and I could just sell all this other stuff and get more out of debt. But if I do OnlyFans, I think I'm gonna want to get my dick out, because all the girls are getting their, well, not all, but all pretty much of the muscle girls are getting their pussies out. I feel like it's not fair. It's sexist. And it's also like, if you don't get your dick out, that must mean that you have a little dick. I think that's where it's going to. I don't think we're there yet, but that's where it's going to go. I think I was talking about this with Paula last week, and she was looking at like dudes pages. She's really conservative. She's like a 53-year-old Catholic, so she kept saying, I would never do that. And I'm like, will you shut up? You're not me, I'm not you. Like, that's because you're a 50-year-old fucking Catholic Chilean. But she was looking at dudes pages, and none of these motherfuckers get their dicks out. So dudes are pussies. Like up is down and down is up. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like Marky Mark says, you know, if you take your pants off enough times, you're eventually gonna have to take your underwear down too. So you might as well do it in the beginning. Oh yeah, plus it's a good way to get attention from women, you know. I wouldn't mind having like a muscle girl or a tall girl come visit me so we can like work out and stuff and like do wrestling and massages and stuff. That's what I was doing with Kirsten, but we broke up. Oh yeah, and climbing mountains. That's what we were mainly doing. But anyways, yeah, 'cause I'm 7 inches. That's respectable, with a good girth. Not like crazy. But anyway, oh yeah. Plus they say the millennial guys these days have pee balls. So it's kind of a way for a older guy to compete with the younger guys, because all the younger guys are running around with these like chodes, because I guess they put too many like pesticides in the try guys talk about it, and the right wingers talk about it. Tim Pool was talking about it. I don't watch Tim Pool. I think I saw it on the Young Turks. Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna get going. I'm currently doing screen captures on TIFF files right now, and yeah, once I'm done with that, I have to rename them and then drag them back down, drag them into the external, turn them into icons, and then maybe even turn the icons into background remove. I love it when there's lots of different things I have to do, because it kind of makes my life easy, because I don't have to graduate to the, I don't know. I've become accustomed to it. And you know what? I don't even get confused. I would have gotten so confused and stressed out with all this going on, but I've been doing this long enough that I know that all you have to do, you don't even have to have your brain turned on. You don't even have to have a good IQ. All you have to do is not get stressed out. And then just be like, okay, what's next? And just do whatever is next. Whatever's in front of you. Doesn't even matter. There doesn't have to be a strategy. Just look and be like, what's wrong? Oh, look, that. And then you fix it. Same thing with the website, you know. It just drives itself. But the key, but what you need, if you're going to do stoner style, I call it stoner style, where you just do whatever, like you never finish anything because you're trying to finish the whole thing. You have to be financially secure, and you have to be young. Because if you run out of money or you die, you ain't going to finish the project, and nothing's going to be finished. So you might as well have never even started it, because nobody's going to finish it for you. So it's kind of like all or nothing. But I think I'm financially secure enough and young enough to be able to pull it off. But it might take like another 20 years. That's entirely possible. But if I work on this for 20 more years, I will have a website that's so magical it'll like be pulsating. I'd have to find the HTML code, CSS code, to make the thing vibrate and glow. Anyways, I'm going to go back to work. I think smoke a little bit of weed, listen to music, and then get going back to work. And then maybe not long after that, my mom will call me and we'll do a ride. Alrighty, talk to you tomorrow.